Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers BLANKA, which is maybe the best figure in the line. We're going to decide by the end of this review if that is the case. We just reviewed the Storm Collectibles one the other day, and it was a phenomenal release. And people want to fight about which is better. We don't have to do that, guys. They're different scales, and we don't have to say which is better. They're both good at different things. We're going to talk about the good and the bad of this figure, though, in this review, even though they sent this as a review sample. I can never get these guys in stores, and so I have to wait for Big Bad Toy Store to get theirs, and who knows when Jada's going to ship that. So I asked for a review sample, and they provided, so thanks to them for that. But I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I will still be talking about everything I always talk about in my reviews, because that's what reviews are for. So anyway, let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. Love their packaging. I love the giant window on the front. Nothing hidden behind some cardboard other than his feet, and that is fine by me. Window on the top, for those of you who keep them in the box, you'll be able to see them nicely. Good looking package all the way around. One of the best packages that's not just a square. I mean a rectangle, a box, a cube, whatever shape they are. This one has a little bit of style to it, but I don't mind it because it looks like an arcade cabinet. Very nice packaging. Now I do want to save this over here because we have to talk about the faces. It's something I've been talking about with Jada since the beginning, and we're going to keep doing it. Okay, so this guy stands just about, we'll call it 18, well, just shy of 19 centimeters to the top of his hair. Top of his head is closer to like 17 and a half, give or take. And that's going to be roughly 6 3/4, a little more, and then about 7 1/2. Here he is up against Marvel Legends Darwin. He has some size, height-wise, and a lot of size, girthy-wise. Okay, so yeah, this guy is available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. If you want to get one, I'll put a link in the description below. Now let's talk about this guy. First, I have to talk about the arguments that people keep making for or against Storm and Jada. Like, you don't have to love one and hate the other, guys. You can like both. It's okay. I don't know why this is a thing. I guess it's a social media thing, but for whatever reason, it's like, oh, there's two companies making Street Fighter, we must choose a side and hate the other side. No, you don't. When I was talking about the Storm Collectibles BLANKA, I talked about how his face matches this. That's a plus for that figure. The hairline was off, but the face was like exactly that. It was awesome, and I mentioned how the Jada one is not that, and I wasn't doing that to put down the Jada one. I'm doing that to talk about the fact that it is most definitely supposed to look like that. It even has the upturned lip. But it is a stylized version of it, and for whatever reason, people will not stop arguing saying, oh, it's supposed to be this or that. It's not. It is this. It is clearly this sculpt. You can see it right there. But it is a stylized version of it. You can call it a cartoonish version, a Pixar version, a simplified version, whatever you want. But that's what it is, and that's what I've been saying all along, and this figure is a perfect example because they gave us the exact reference. They did get the hairline better, but it is a stylized version. That is not an insult. It is just what it is. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to make up something about, oh, it's actually based on this sprite or that when it's absolutely not. It's just a stylized version. It's fine, though. We don't have to argue about who's better. It is what it is, and it's good at what it is. Alright, so let's talk about the aesthetic, but first a question of the day. Which color for BLANKA is your favorite? I have to go with Turbo, yellow skin, blue hair. Otherwise, this color right here. I don't prefer the darker green. I think this is it, and they really nailed it. They nailed the color scheme for the skin. I think the hair could be a little bit more saturated, but it's fine. And then they got the darker color for the shorts. I like that. The original sprites were fairly light colored shorts, like almost the same as the hair. Maybe they were the same. But the darker shorts is how it looks more recently, and I think it looks really nice. I think they did a good enough job with the tattering throughout the pants. It looks a little bit chunky. The paint isn't the best on there, because painting white is hard, but at least it's opaque, so I'll take it. And there is some texture on the shorts, though maybe not as much as you'd like, but maybe it's more than you'd like. I don't know what you like. Alright, but I want to talk about this, because the skin tone on this guy is the best one they've released. That's funny because he's green, but my point is they did a really good job getting him that color and having a nice matte finish, and also the shading on him is much better, I think, than most of the releases. Now, it could just be dumb luck for me, but it seems to be better placed. It's not perfect. There are definitely some lines that don't belong where they are. It's not perfect, but it does seem to be a cleaner paint job overall for the shading. Now, for the hair, they did paint it all on there, which is fine. but I think it could be a little bit less muddy looking. They did paint his claws, which is really, really nice. If this was a larger multi-billion-dollar company releasing a, let's say, a blue guy that's very similar to this named Beast, they wouldn't paint those claws until it's like the 6th or 7th release. But yeah, it looks really good. The stylized cartoonish face, you can fight about it if you want to. I would prefer it look more realistic, but for what they're doing, it's good. He's got one of the better sets of faces. I think he's tied with Sagat for the good faces, if you ask me. Musculature and anatomy, it's one of the better sets overall. He's got a little bit of a stylized look, of course, but I mean, because of his beast-like proportions. But yeah, I think they nailed it. This guy looks awesome for the price point. Easily one of the best figures ever released at this price point. He and Sagat are both up there. I'm going to give his aesthetics a 9.5 out of 10. Really, really nice. Very little room for improvement. We have a little bit of color disparity here. That might be lighting based. I don't think so, but maybe. Your mileage may vary. And also the plastics might vary slightly from release to release. But yeah, really, really good. Now, as far as accessories go, we have the 2 fist hands. We have the 2 clenchy hands. Those are really all you need. I'd like one flat open hand too. That's for some poses for him. But this is fine. And then for the faces, you get the character card face, then you get the angry face, and in some ways it looks really good, and in other ways it looks a little bit weird. It almost looks like his jaw is doing a Venom thing, because like I get yelling and everything, but when his mouth is closed, his teeth line up, and so when his mouth is open, the bottom jaw shouldn't be sticking that far forward. That's pretty weird looking, but it still looks pretty good, so that's nice. And then you do get his lightning effects, or electricity effects. They're not as good as the way more expensive Storm one, but they don't have to be. These are excellent, especially for this price point with a figure this size that's this good. This is a really good set of effect parts, and they could have easily just done 2 of the same. Nope, you have 2 different sculpts, and they're really well executed in the transparent yellow and clear. Very, very nicely done. So I do think we're lacking one hand, but I'm not going to be super upset that I can't do one, a medium punch? I can't remember now. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for accessories. Like, that is really, really nice, especially for the price point. You could easily argue even higher than 9 out of 10, but I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation, because I've heard that this is the best articulated figure ever. And maybe it is at this price point. So let's see. I want to note that his hair is 2 separate pieces. It's not articulated. It just has it's just a separate piece inside. All right, it's just tabbed in there. You won't be able to see. It doesn't matter. It's just a separate piece. I guess that gives it a little bit extra mobility, and that's fine. So let's see here. He can look forward. We have ball pegs, by the way, double ball peg, single ball peg, so that's nice. He can look down. He can look up. He does lean all the way back. So they cheated in the best way, because this is how you're supposed to do action figures. You're supposed to consider what you're making and make it as good as you can, not try to make it as cheap as you can. So they cheated by, oh, it's actually a hinge. I didn't realize it was a hinge. Does it not go side to side? It does go side to side, so maybe it's a hinge on a ball peg. That would make sense. Anyway, the cheating is they cut out a big extra gap back here. But you'll never know that unless you do something like this, which I know some people on Instagram are like, let's twist our figures as much as we can. No, just pose it normally. Anyway, big gap in there, but that's good because it's for this, and it's hidden perfectly by the hair, and it lets him do his crouch really well, so that's nice. It must be a ball peg underneath that hinge, or it just wiggles too much. Either way, good neck range. Oh, I swear there's a peg. Anyway, it works really, really well. And the fact that he can lean his head all the way back is really nice. Now, it does look a little weird, but once you put him in the pose, it'll be fine, and it'll make sense if you know the character. Alright, so for the butterfly joint, his is not bad. It's a lot like Sagat's in that you do have to trade off the thickness of the chest for the butterfly. His works even a little bit better than Sagat in a way, because his cutout is more central. But he still doesn't have a ton of range, so I'm not sold that it's absolutely necessary. I'm still 50-50 on it. Like, I really like my sculpts, but also having the extra range is nice. So you guys can let me know in the comment section if you prefer it or don't. But yeah, as far as butterflies go, they did a pretty good job on this one, so that's nice. You're going to get your full range in your shoulder, all the way up to horizontal there. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow works no problem. And his biceps aren't as mushed as a lot of the other figures in this line have been. So that's nice to see. They have improved, even from Sagat to this guy. Very nice. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Diaphragm joint in the torso. Let's see how it works. It does go that far back, which isn't a ton, but it works really nicely. Look, he's not pregnant or anything like that. It just gives you a really nice smooth silhouette, good range, and using the lower torso, you get him that far back. So that's pretty good. Using them both to go forward, you can crunch him really far forward as well, so that's very nice. And it just goes to show you don't need to add extra hinges and things to get good range out of the torso. Ball pegs will do you just fine if you do them right, and they did here, so that's very nice. Waist twist is going to work no problem. Shorts are nice and soft. You can rotate up here as well. Very, very nice. Now, just as a side note, somebody told me in my Storm review that BLANKA can't even do the pose in the Storm figure. For the Storm figure, yeah, he can. I don't know if this one does it better or worse, we're going to find out, but he definitely did do it. I posted a photo, so that figure could do it. I don't think that figure needed that extra junk right here. This guy can do it without it. So that, you can see right here, it works. And look at that, he can kick really, really nice and high with that soft crotch piece. Very good. He can bring his leg back a little bit, and watch this, Spider-Man fans, Maximum BLANKA doing the splits. You don't even have to tuck in the shorts that much. You can put them on the outside if you want. Full splits, no nuggets. It's so easy to make a hip work properly if you just try a little bit. It's just a couple of circles you have to figure out. So easy. Thigh swivel under the shorts, very nicely done. Love that. In fact, I think they're better than Sagat's, even though it's cheating because his are tighter to his legs. They did a pretty good job here, is my point. All right, double jointed knees. Let's see if we can get that top one going. There we go. Full range, good proportioning, no problems there. The color disparities for the knees and elbows, a little bit more noticeable on this guy than some of the other ones, but not bad. We do get an ankle swivel right here, which is good for one thing. A lot of people like to use these to do weird poses. I don't like that because the human body doesn't work this way. You cannot move your foot without moving your leg. I mean, not in any real way. But that's good because when you do an ankle rocker, you want to be able to rotate it to make the ankle rocker not at a weird angle. So that's very nice to have that in there, and it's hidden underneath the bracelets. Anklets, I guess. Sounds bad. Okay, so yeah, foot goes all the way back. That's very nice. And all the way forward. That's very nice. No toes. But yeah, you get your ankle rocker, and then you can adjust it with that ankle rotation there. So very nice set of articulation, and yeah, he can do the pose just fine. And because of that neck, he does do it probably better than the Storm one. So there you go. For those of you who need to have a winner, I would say this one probably hits that pose a little bit better. But we'll see. By the way, do you guys want me to keep doing that who did it better thing? I'm not going to do it with Storm because it's a different scale and price point, but I can compare these to the Soda toys, which are the previous undisputed king of Street Fighter figures, and now we have these to talk about. So we can say who did it better. But okay, so yeah, his articulation, 9.5 out of 10. Damn near perfect. Really, really, really well done. The only thing that really bothers me is, and I guess they did this because they're going to be hidden. I don't know for sure, but the ankles don't match. Like the swivel in the ankle, it doesn't match the sculpt of the calf unless you rotate it like all the way sideways. So, not all the way, but like a lot. So that's really irksome to me. And his joints have a little bit of looseness. By the way, I didn't mention that. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, 9.5. It still poses really well, but you're going to have to deal with a few things. Okay, so now it's time for the final verdict. Is this the best figure in the line? I want to say he beats Sagat. I think he does. Sagat, I would have put Sagat first, and now I'm going to put BLANKA first. So I think I would rate him BLANKA, Sagat, Chun-Li, Guile in that order. Very, very nice figure. This is such an incredible thing to see at this price point. It should make all of the other companies releasing anything around this price point feel bad about themselves. Love to see it. Love to see a company care about what they're doing. Yeah, I'm not absolutely for the stylized look, but that's a personal thing, and I'm more than happy to have this collection. I love these figures, and I'm really, really glad that Jada is putting the effort into it. I love them as a company as of right now. You don't have to love a company for anything other than the product they put out. As soon as they start putting out bad products, I'll stop loving them. Used to love Hasbro before I knew any better. Anyway, excellent, excellent, excellent release. I'm going to rate him at a 9.7 out of 10. Not a whole lot of room for improvement. Some, but not much. But that's it from me, guys. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.